All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Tyler Ballhorn. I am the founder of Stockscores. I wrote the book that you see on screen. Hopefully you've all received that already. And if you haven't, a link will be emailed to you after the webinar. And if you don't get that email, check your junk folder, your spam folder, because it's probably landed in there. Everyone that's registered for the webinars this past week would have had those emailed to them. But of course, that doesn't mean that they got them, because sometimes email gets put into a junk folder. Anyway, I'm going to talk for a little shorter today, probably about 45 minutes, just take you through the different education options, show you the tools that we have developed for traders and investors, and tell you a little bit about my story. So here's the itinerary. I'll let you know how I came to be a teacher of trading and how that evolved out of my own trading. Talk really about the importance of getting educated, whether it's from someone like myself or others. I think it's imperative that you learn before you trade, because of course there's a good deal of financial and I would say emotional risk on the line when you start investing your own money in the market. I'm going to show you the tools on Stockscores, which are primarily meant for investors. And then we'll talk a little bit about the tools on TradeStation, which is a American-owned company that has a platform that I use for day trading and swing trading. We can also use Stockscores for swing trading. Anyway, swing trading, day trading, position trading, all those terms I will explain. I'll show you the tools and take you on a little tour of that. Also take you on a tour of the Stockscores Education Center, which is a great resource for learning my approach to the market. We'll go through what is included with my investor course, with my active trader course, and the mentorship program, which starts early in November. I'll show you how to register for any of those things. We'll take a little bit of time to answer some questions and show you some testimonials that people have emailed me on the different courses that we offer. So let's talk first a little bit about why I teach and my background in teaching trading. I started trading the stock market when I was 19. I'm 51 now, so that's 32 years ago. And in 1999, I partnered with a company called Stock Group to develop tools for my approach to trading and investing in the stock market, because I don't do what most people do in terms of how I approach that. And I needed my own tools to find opportunities quickly. Now, I had built my own and had them running in Excel and different very cumbersome processes that took a long time. And so I thought, well, let's build some tools. And at the time, the whole model of the internet was, build a website, have advertising, and that will, generate the income to support building those tools and provide, some return on investment. Well, it didn't end up working that way. We spent a few $100,000 building the first version of the tools that you will see today. And the advertising market just really plummeted in terms of what you could collect for advertising. And so we never put a single ad on stockscores.com because it just didn't make any sense. And so what instead I decided to do was provide a model of memberships and education. I had been teaching people through a club, an investing club, both at the University of Calgary, but also in the city of Calgary. We had a few hundred people in that club, and for some reason, people liked my approach to the market and liked to have me teach it to them. So here I was, a pretty young guy in my late 20s, early 30s, teaching people in the oil and gas industry and that sort of thing about how my approach worked. And out of that evolved the courses that I started to teach in 2001. And I continue to do that. I really enjoy teaching. It's quite rewarding. The thing about trading the stock market is it's really all about you, right? You're only pursuing things for your own personal benefit. You don't really give anything back to society. You sit in your house, or I'm sitting in my office right now, and buy and sell things, and you don't really add any value to society. But with teaching, I I do that. I'm able to help people invest better, make a living off of trading the stock market. And it's quite rewarding when I get those emails saying, hey, I quit my job and I'm now teaching full time, and offering their thanks and that sort of thing. So that's a big reason why I teach. But there's also the economic element of it. My website costs $100,000 a year just to keep it running, because it is quite an expensive thing to have stock market data. I need those tools for my own trading of the market. I spend thousands of dollars developing new indicators for TradeStation, and all that stuff is expensive. And when you share that with a relatively small audience, I don't teach a lot of people, less than 100 people per year, I'm able to develop some cool things that I benefit from and other people can benefit from, and everyone's better off. You will not see me do a lot of marketing. I teach just, as I said, a relatively small number of people twice a year. And the reason is I don't want a lot of people to do what I do, because if you have too many people doing it, the opportunity goes away. And so I've always sort of kept Stockscores as sort of a niche little product. There's no advertising on it. We don't send out a bunch of marketing emails 3 times a week like some tool companies do. That's just not my interest. I run it personally. I teach people myself. I don't have staff doing the teaching. My staff are there to keep the website up and running and that sort of thing. But when it comes to that relationship with my students, that's just me and them. Over the years, I've taught mostly retail investors, primarily in Canada. That's where I live, and that's where the media caught on to me a little bit, and so I have a following in Canada. But every year we get a few people from international markets. I would imagine there's people here today from the UK. I know I have a student in Argentina, Hong Kong. So it's cool. Like, I get to experience other people's world and see what things are like in their part of the world. So I enjoy that part of it. I've also been hired by brokerages to teach their clients and their staff. So I don't do this much anymore, but there was a time when brokerages would hire me to come in and teach the brokers my approach to the market. Again, I don't do that really anymore, but that was something I did at one time. I've also taught institutional traders, people that manage hundreds of millions of dollars, taught a little bit to them, but again, that was a long time ago. I don't do that much anymore. But I do think it speaks to the quality or the legitimacy of my approach to the market when large institutional investors were hiring me, brokerages were hiring me, and it's simply because what I do is effective. So why should you get educated? Stock trading and investing is simple, but it is not easy. And one of the great failings of people that get into the market is they just don't take time to learn. And the reason is there are no barriers to entry. Anyone can open a brokerage account. You just need a little bit of money and some identification to do it. It's not that great of a challenge. But there is nothing that stops people from actually trading. And the problem with that is, you might watch a video on YouTube or read a little book that tells you the day trading for dummies. And then you can go in there and quickly lose your capital. And the hard reality is that most people who go out into the market as aspiring stock traders or investors, they suffer losses early because they have not taken the time to learn. Now, there's times when you get, latched onto a hot market. Someone might have bought cannabis stocks at the right time and made a bunch of money without really knowing what they were doing, simply because that market was hot. It was going up from left to right over time. But eventually, their inexperience will cause them to give back those profits. Because trading is like anything, really. You need to know what you're doing. And it takes time and determination and practice to become good at it. You want to be a doctor, you go to med school. You want to be a lawyer, you go to law school. You want to be an athlete, you practice, practice, practice. And there are things that stop you from being a doctor or a lawyer or a professional athlete. There's nothing that stops you from trading the stock market or investing your money for yourself. what I charge for my courses is so minor compared to what it will save you in losses or in hard lessons that I've had to learn, because I didn't learn from anyone. I taught myself. It took me 8 years before I was, good at it, because I had to teach myself. At the time that I was learning to trade, there was no one providing courses, or there was very few books about trading the stock market. There was a few books about trading the futures market that I learned something from, I guess. But there's also that element of confidence when you don't really know what you're doing and you sort of try things. It's hard to know if that's going to work. And I think one of the benefits of learning from me is that I've got the experience. I've done this for 30 years or more than 30 years. And, I always tell my students, if you've suffered some losses on some trades, just send me the details of those trades, the symbol, when you bought, when you sold. And I can usually tell you what's wrong with you psychologically. And I say that tongue in cheek because there's nothing wrong with you. Really, it's that you are a normal human being. And normal human beings are predisposed to fail in the stock market because they succumb to fear and greed. It's just normal. We have an emotional attachment to money, and to overcome that requires reprogramming yourself. I can teach anyone my rules in a weekend. It's not that complicated. But following the rules, having good process, having emotional control, discipline, all of those sort of human being components, that's what can take some people time to learn. And, so often we see what we want to see because of cognitive biases. There's a whole field of study in behavioral finance that talks about how human beings react to the stresses of risking capital. And that's a big part of what I do. And we'll get into that a little more as I go through the presentation. So I give a lot of support. First of all, I teach my rules that I spent thousands of hours figuring out. I've been trading for 30 years, so that's probably 30,000 hours of sitting in front of a screen. And I just have a feel for the market that most people don't have because I've spent the time. And I can save you the time in teaching you that. Now is a great time to be a trader. COVID has been the best thing for the markets since the tech bubble in 1999. 5 years ago, you could still make money trading, but it was more of a grind. You had to be really, really selective. And I had to adapt my strategies and become much more of a computer-based trader up until COVID. But then COVID comes along, and you've had millions of new traders come into the market. Most of them don't really know what they're doing. They're monitoring chat rooms like Wall Street Bets on Reddit. They are trading on tips. And when those markets are hot, they get lucky and they can make good money in the short term. But once those stocks cool down, they're often buried. They're often the bag holder, the last one to be the buyers. And they end up getting stuck both emotionally and financially. And, I've been through these cycles before. The COVID boom in the stock market has been great, and it continues to generate huge movers. I mean, the movers that we had on Friday were like unbelievable, to be honest. Some of these stocks that went up 500-600% in a day last week. But it's a small group of stocks, and you have to have good tools to find them. You have to know what to look for. Otherwise, you come in too late and you can end up being that bag holder. So what do you need to succeed in the market? Now, I can speak the same for whether you want to be a day trader, which is kind of a full-time thing, whether you want to be a swing trader, which is, maybe an hour a day. You don't have to do it every day, but if you want to do it, it's about an hour a day. Or to be an investor, if you just want to manage your retirement portfolio and, aspire to retire 10 years earlier than someone might. The things that we do are all the same across all of those types of trading. What you need for success is you need to know what to look for. And I teach that through my Stockscores Education Center and also the live classes that I will be doing starting in November. You need to have tools. If you do what everyone else does, you're going to get what everyone else gets, which is average. In order to beat average, you have to have an edge. And my edge, a couple edges, I guess. One is that I have tools that most people don't have. And again, I share that with a small number of people. But, my website isn't hugely popular. You can go see how popular it is with, there's websites out there that do rankings, and my website's not that popular, and that's by design. I don't want it to be a CNBC type website that attracts hundreds of thousands of people, because I use these tools myself. I develop my tools to scratch my own itch, and I've created things that help me every day. And if you want to use them, you can benefit from them as well. I also provide support personally to my students. That's not, I don't have an army of education helpers. It's entirely me that does all the question and answer. And I couldn't do that if I was teaching a lot of people. So, this time around, maybe 40 or 50 people will take my course, and I'll be able to provide them the service that they deserve so that you can get up and learning. The thing that you have to bring to the equation is you have to have some money to trade with, obviously. You have to have the discipline to do what I tell you to do, and the willingness to work to learn, because it is practice. It does take some repetition. You can't, wiggle your nose and learn it in a day. It's going to take you a couple of months of working. If you want to be a day trader, you got to put in some time to practice reading charts. If you want to be an investor, you have to put in that time to practice running market scans. And I hold your hand through that. We're going to do market scans together for my investor students. I have my ActiveLive service, which I'll talk about later in this presentation, where I take you through the market each and every day, showing you in real time how to evaluate stocks and what to look for. So we'll talk about that more detail. But you have to do the work. You have to show up and listen and study. And it's not a lot of work. It might take you 15 hours to go through my course material. And then you've got the base, and now you just have to practice and have the discipline to follow the rules. So the Stockscores Education Center has 3 primary areas. The foundation area is where we have the theory. So the theory for reading a stock chart. It's very simple, straightforward, concise. It's not going to take you a long time to go through the videos and the lessons. I'll show you them in a moment. There's a written component. Some people prefer to read. Other people want to see it in a video. I think you should do both. There is an assignment for each module. And then there's a little multiple choice test for each module. And then we get into the actual strategies, which are when to buy or how to know what to buy, when to sell, the process for identifying opportunities, the step-by-step rules, that sort of thing. So let's jump over to the Stockscores website now, and I'll just show you how this looks here. We go into the trader training area and go down to the Education Center. Now, if you are not a member of Stockscores, then you will have access to the Getting Started area. So you can go and check that out. It's just a few videos on some of the really basic things, like what are the Stockscores indicators, how do they work, a tour of the website, little introduction to how the stock market itself works, basics of making a trade, the basics of charting, just some real entry-level stuff for someone who has no background in the stock market. This is a good place to start. And this is all free, and I encourage you to watch those videos. Once you are a member of Stockscores and using my tools and have access to the education, now you have access to the foundation material. And this is where you just work through these modules one at a time, starting from the top and working your way down. And again, there's a written component. So if you want to learn the 6 elements of chart patterns, these are the critical 6 things that you need to understand. Not complicated. And honestly, I've been trading for 30 years. It doesn't go beyond these 6 things. You just have to have a really good understanding of what those 6 are and how they work together. But I keep it simple because the simple things work the best. So there is the written component, and then there is the video. I can click on that little video icon and start in this case, it's a 30-minute lesson. You can hear some snazzy music in the background. What is an inflection point? Well, it's really a price level where the... Okay, so that's just that component of the Education Center. And as I said, for each module in the foundation area, there's also an assignment, so you can practice the things that you learned. And there's a little multiple choice test, so you can make sure that you understand what you did. that lesson is 30 minutes long. Give yourself an hour to go through it all. And there's, these lessons, most of them are shorter. This is one of the longest ones. And you just work down from top to bottom. You don't necessarily have to do every lesson. Reverse engineering the stock market and developing a trading strategy. I think they're good, but that's really what I do for you. I'm the one who's developed the strategies. If you want to know the process that I go through to develop a trading strategy, then there's a written component to it, a video and all that kind of stuff. The most important lessons, and for those of you that have already registered, the most important lessons that you want to go through before our first live class on November 1st are the ones up to, I would say up to using stops, and also the time frame confirmation lesson. Scaling is a more advanced thing. We can do that one later. And these ones toward the bottom, you can do after the first week of November's classes. But these are the ones that I'd like you to get through before November 1st. So you're looking at 3 or 4 hours of work to prepare. You don't have to, but you're going to get much more out of the classes that we do November 1st and 2nd, and then the market scan practicing that we do for the rest of that week is really focused on the investor section. And so on the investor section, you have my strategies, the Stockscores simple strategy, which is a good one for your retirement portfolio. Abnormal breaks, great way to find the hot stocks that are likely to beat the market in the weeks ahead. And these are investor strategies. These are not day trading or swing trading. These are the things where you buy it. You don't have to look at it every hour. You check it maybe once a week, or you can check them daily just to see if there is a requirement to move your stop loss points. All of that stuff is taught in these. And again, there is a written lesson, there is a video, and you just work through it one step at a time. And then finally, in the Education Center, we have the strategies for day trading and swing trading. So day trading, we're holding a stock just for the day. We're out before the close of trading. And swing trading, we're typically holding for a few days, usually less than 2 weeks. And I've got a number of different strategies because different market conditions require different strategies. So for example, right now, the superhero strategy is the one that's working the best. There were probably 10 stocks that were met the requirements of the superhero strategy on Friday. And this is a strategy that's been much better and really the strategy to focus on through the COVID market, because it really takes advantage of human emotion and this crowd mentality of chasing stocks higher. Often these stocks have nothing really legitimate in their business, but they catch the interest of the crowd, and they can go from $5 to $8 in 2 hours, really make big moves. And so that's the one that we're focusing on primarily right now. We also do the day trader strategy, the intraday pullback strategy. For a swing trader who wants to, maybe they can't watch the market all day. Maybe they can watch the market in the first hour of the day or perhaps the last half hour of the day. Well, that's going to be a strategy that's more suitable for that type of trader. So I've created strategies. I do all these myself, but I've created these strategies for different situations, different time constraints, different capital constraints, different emotional types. If you love the action of a fast moving market, then day trading is good for you. If you don't like that, if you find that stresses you out too much, then okay, you're going to be more of an investor or maybe a swing trader. If you like technology, you're going to utilize some of these tools that are good for the day trader strategy or the superhero strategy. If you don't like to mess around with computers and programs like TradeStation, well, then I have a service for you where I'll do that technical work and you can just watch my analysis screen. All right, so we have things for everyone, every situation. And what I want to do today is try to give you some guidance on what might work best for you. So the tools we have on Stockscores, a market scan tool, which is the primary tool for finding investment opportunities and swing trade opportunities. I'll show you that in just a moment. We have charting on Stockscores. We have a risk calculator. And then for the day trader, we have Stockscores indicators for a program called TradeStation. And so many of my day trade students use TradeStation, and I give them my proprietary indicators that I have written. Well, I had them written because I can't program well enough to do it myself, but I wrote the math. Some programmers then programmed it for me. And what it does is it gives us an edge. It allows us to find hot stocks before the crowd gets to it. And then we can benefit because when the crowd gets to it, stock goes up a lot, we can sell to them and always be one step ahead of the crowd. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars creating those indicators, not to mention the immense amount of time that goes into developing and testing these things. And they're available as part of your membership when you are an active trader student. When you are an investor student, you get the market scan tool that we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars building. Let me show you how that tool looks. So the market scan is here, and it has in it 40 or 50 different indicators and things that you can combine. So if you're a technical person, you can build this yourself. You can say, show me all the stocks on the Canadian market, if you wanted to, that made an abnormal price gain, had an abnormal day up between $1 and $10, and did so with abnormal volume, which are some of the things I look for, and traded at least 500 times on Friday. So there, I've just built my own scan. Run the scan, didn't find any. Too strict. What if I run that on the US market? So I just change one thing, same, everything else is the same. Run that scan, and it found 29 stocks. Now then I can view the charts of those stocks in the slideshow viewer. So I selected slideshow right here, click on go, and it's going to take me through these charts, which I currently have set to a 2-day, 2-minute chart, which is something I would use for day trading. I'll show you how to change the chart time frame in a moment. So now I can see all of the stocks that really made big moves on Friday and determine whether they had good patterns in those price moves. And I'm just clicking on the little next button to cycle through the charts, looking for the patterns that I teach people to look for. So for example, this stock broke from what's called a flag pattern right here. That's an intraday pullback buy signal for one of my day trade strategies. Then it broke from what's called a pennant pattern right here. That is we call that a superhero strategy. Okay. And you buy here, you sell here. Well, that stock went from $1.10 to $2 in, 20 minutes, half an hour. So these are the kind of things that we are looking for. All right, so let me just go back to the market scan, because you don't have to build your own scans. You can if you want. I would say 20% of my students build their own scans. The majority use the presets. And these presets have been built for you based on the strategies taught in the education center. So for example, if we go into the education center and we go down to the investor section, you will see here the abnormal break strategy, okay, right there. And you can read about it. You can watch the video that explains how it works. Then you can go into the market scan. You can select abnormal breaks US or Canada. So let's do the US one. It pre-populates the settings for that strategy. And then I can run the market scan and view the charts. Now, the first thing I want to do for this strategy is make sure my chart is set to the right time frame. So I'm going to pull up the chart of Microsoft. I do that by typing in the symbol MSFT in the top left, click on Get the Stockscores, and now I've got a chart on Microsoft. Now you can see that this is a 2-day, 2-minute chart. Well, that is not the right chart for investing. That's a day trader chart. So I need to change it. So I'm going to go down to the Chart Options tab, click on that, and I'm going to change this from an intraday 2-minute chart to a daily chart looking back 8 months. So I'm just making the change there. Now I could add indicators here. Some of you may like to use moving averages or things like a MACD indicator or a stochastic or whatever. You can do that. I prefer not to, but that's just what I like. So I've set my chart to be a daily 8-month chart with no indicators added. And I'm going to click on Create Chart. And now that is a 240-day chart. You can see that right there. So that is now my new default chart. So now when I do my market scan, go back to the market scan, select Abnormal Breaks US, run the scan. Now I'm going to view the charts in slideshow. And now you'll notice that I'm looking at a 240-day chart. Now my job is to cycle through these charts looking for the right chart pattern. What we want are stocks that nobody cares about, and then they come alive with abnormal activity. So that was a good day to buy the stock, and you can see what happened. Today, it's breaking from what's called a pennant pattern. Pretty good, not as good as this signal here. This is like a 6 out of 10. This would have been a 7 out of 10. So decent chance it's going to go up. It may get stuck up here. Now, this is a real penny stock. I personally don't like to trade stocks that are this low priced. This is less than a penny, but it's just the fact that I've sorted this scan by price, so I've got the cheapest ones first. So let me go through a few of these and we'll just see if we can see anything good. Okay, here's a stock that, this is a warrant actually. Let's pass on that. See how it's got WT here? That means it's a warrant. We'll try to find the actual stock. All right, I'm going to try to find something that's a little bit better in terms of the pattern it has. All right, so this stock was a great day trader. This is also a warrant. We got all these warrants because they're cheap. Let me find an actual stock that is breaking with abnormal. These are all showing abnormal activity. All right, so here is a stock. You can see very clearly it had abnormal volume, abnormal price. That was what the scan is looking for. But you'll notice also that the stock scores are quite low. You can actually see it, whoops, at the top of the screen. Sorry, I jumped ahead there. Let's go back to that one. You can see that the stock score is a 36 on sentiment and a 46 on signal. These scores are meant for investors. They are not meant for day traders or swing traders. They are meant for investors. What this means is that this stock, even though it was behaving abnormally, is not a great chart for investors. Let me explain why. This stock has been in a downward trend for a long time. That means that the sellers are in control. Now, what happened on Friday is it came alive with very strong abnormal activity, which is great, and it was a great day trader on Friday, but it's going to run into resistance at these price zones because people remember those high points. And so the chance that this can go into a long-term upward trend is maybe 40%. And the reason is because it's breaking up into pessimism. So one of the things that I teach in the course is how to know how to read chart patterns. So that pattern is not good for a position trader, a longer term trader. However, for a day trader, it had optimism coming into that break. So here is the day trader chart. This is that 2-day, 2-minute chart. And there it had optimism and it broke through resistance from optimism. And you can see it went on a really nice rip higher. So we apply the same thinking, whether we are a day trader, a swing trader, a position trader, we apply the same analysis of charts. What we differ on is what chart we are looking at. If you're a day trader, you look at the 2-day, 2-minute chart. If you're an investor, you look at the 6-month or 1-year daily chart. And if you're a long-term trader, really a long-term investor, you look at the 3-year weekly chart. And we're looking for certain patterns on here that I teach. How do you know what the patterns are? You go into the education center, you go down to the foundation section, and you study this lesson, the 6 elements of chart patterns, predictive chart patterns, and price channels. Those are the 3 lessons that are going to teach you what to look for. And then when you go into the investor module and study the abnormal breaks lesson, you are going to be taught what patterns to look for. What are the entry signals? All right, so it's a full service from A to Z. We start with theory, we teach the rules, and we provide the tool to find those things. Every day, if you are an investor, maybe in the last hour of the day or in the evenings, you run your market scan, and then you look at the charts. Now, 55 stocks, I can go through those one at a time with the slideshow viewer, which is what I showed, or I can look at them in a smaller version of the chart in a quicker format with the gallery view. So the gallery view is what I've got this set to. I'm going to click on go. And now I can go through these much quicker, looking for the right pattern. So when you start out, when you're just learning, I recommend that you do the big charts, the slideshow viewer, because they're bigger and easier to read. But once you've practiced this for a little while, you literally can get to the point where you go through charts this quickly. And I do this every day, and I'm looking for certain patterns. Here's one that's pretty good. This is called a cup and handle pattern. Now I can click on the chart, blow this up, and I'll just draw the pattern out for you. So we've got this little cup and then the handle over here. Basically, the stock was kind of out of favor, and then the buyers got interested again. They took the stock up. It stalled at resistance, which was the old highs from over here. That's normal. It went sideways for most of the month of October, and then on Friday, it made a nice breakout right there with strong volume. So strong volume, strong price action, that is a good pattern. However, we're not done yet. With this strategy, we still have to get confirmation on the 3-year weekly chart. So I click on 3Y. That's now a 3-year weekly. And I can see that there's really no resistance to deal with. It's got good volume. So I would give this, I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. That means I think it has a 65% chance of going higher. And you can do the same thing. I teach you what to look for. I help you practice with our first week of classes early in November. And then while you're practicing, 2 months from now, if you want me to give you my feedback on whether you are applying the rules properly, you fire me an email and say, Tyler, I did the market scan for the abnormal breaks. I think SEH or SEA looks good. Did I get it right? And I will give you some feedback on that. I don't do that for anyone but my students. Obviously, I couldn't do it for the whole world. I just don't have enough time. But for my students, I do that. And I find that my students ask me lots of questions for the first month or two. And then, the answers are always the same. I teach you what to look for. And pretty soon you don't need me anymore because you've learned it yourself. Here's another decent pattern. This is called a bottom fishing pattern. Stock was in a downward trend. It broke the downward trend, step 1. Step 2 is it built a rising bottom. And step 3, it broke from a rising bottom. And that means it's likely to move higher from here. It will be a little slower because this stock has quite a bit of resistance there, quite a bit of resistance here. But in the months ahead, I think there's a good chance that this stock moves up towards $6. It's not going to be, it's not likely to be a fast mover. It's going to take time because it is facing a little bit of an uphill battle. But I do think it has good potential. I would give this a 6.5 out of 10. So that's the process. Now, as an added bonus, and I said that I was going to do a surprise bonus for anyone that registers for my classes. As a surprise bonus for the entire month of November, I will do a video every trading day where I go through this market scan looking for opportunities, and I will just walk through it and tell you why I like something and why I don't like something. And you will get those videos every day in the final hour of trading so that you can see how I do this. And so that is an added bonus that I haven't mentioned in any other webinar. You had to come to this last webinar to learn about it. And that will be an added bonus. We'll talk about the different bonuses in a little bit. All right. So that's a little tour of the tools. Now, the other tool that I use is is TradeStation. I just have to open up a workspace here. Just give me half a second. I should have done this before. But this tool is what I use for day trading. And I would say of my day trading students, maybe 30% use this same tool. What it allows me to do is calculate indicators on stocks in real time. And I've written my own indicators for TradeStation. And if you are my ActiveLive student, you get access to my action candle indicator, to some of my trend line indicators. You also get access to my ActiveLive service where you can watch my screen. So I would say 30% of my active trader students use TradeStation themselves, and the other 70% use something called ActiveLive. So ActiveLive is something I'll talk about in just a moment. You can see it listed here, but it's where you can watch my trading screen. And for the first half an hour and last half an hour, I sort of coach you through the day. I teach you things. I show you in real time stocks that I like. It's a great way to learn, and that runs every trading day, unless I'm on vacation, which I rarely do. But even when I go on vacation, I usually run it. And if it's not running with me talking, it's still running. You still get to watch the trading screen. You just may not hear me talk for the whole day, but that's very rare. For the most part, every trading day, I open the market with you, I close the market with you, and teach you lots, give you access to all kinds of data, all kinds of tools. It really is an awesome service. All right, let's talk about the courses and what's included. So the investor course gives you access to the foundation part of the Stockscores Education Center. That's where you learn your theory, like reading chart patterns, that sort of thing. You will learn my investor strategies, when to buy, when to sell, manage risk, all that sort of stuff. I just teach you the rules there. You will get access to the strategies that I've developed over the last 25 years. You get access to the market scans for those strategies. You get email support from me while you are learning. Your access to the tools, so the Stockscores market scan being the primary tool, you get that included for 6 months. And after 6 months, you can continue to use that tool for $300 per year. The $300 per year is just to pay for the data, because we have to pay the exchanges for that data. Costs me almost $10,000 a month to keep the website up for data and the hosting of the website and all that kind of stuff. So that's what that $300 a year goes toward. You're going to learn the process. So step 1, you run a market scan. That's what we showed earlier. Step 2, you inspect the charts, looking for the right patterns. And again, for a month, I'm going to show you in a video my scans every day so you can see me do it. It's a great way to learn. Then you run your risk management to know how much of a stock to buy, how to size your position. You're going to make the entry. You're going to monitor the trade for an exit signal. And then once you've finished the trade, you should always run a journal so that you can learn from every trade. Now, the Active Trader course includes everything that's in the investor course. So you also get the foundation, you get the investor stuff, but you also get the Active Trader strategies. You get access to the market scan for investor and active trader scans. Still get email support from me. Still get access to the tool for 6 months, renewable at $300 per year. But in addition, you get my indicators for TradeStation. If you decide to use TradeStation, you don't have to, but if you decide to use it. And it makes you eligible for my ActiveLive service. The process when we are day trading is before the market opens and throughout the day, we assess what we call the market factor. Is the overall market helping us or hindering us? And that determines how we trade that market. We look for action candles, either with the ActiveLive service or with TradeStation running on your own machine. You inspect the charts when you get an action candle. You do your risk management calculation and position sizing, and ActiveLive actually does that for you. You enter the trade, you monitor the trade, you exit, you ask me questions, you journal so that you can always learn. Now let's talk a little bit about the ActiveLive service, which is something you are eligible for if you take the Active Trader course. ActiveLive is only open to people that take the Active Trader course because I don't want to have hundreds and hundreds of people or thousands of people in that service, because it just takes away the opportunity. So in that service, you are watching my analysis screen and you are watching me create and monitor the market for day trades. It's real time. The signals are live. It's the same screen that I use to pick my day trades and swing trades. And ActiveLive is delayed about 1/4 of a second just for the time it takes to get from me to you. It's automated, instant trade signals. And you're benefiting from the fact that I've got really expensive, powerful computers doing this work. We can monitor the entire US stock market in real time using this tool. Now, I know many of you are Canadian. I also am Canadian. And unfortunately, TradeStation does not cover the Canadian markets. So for trading the Canadian market, I recommend you only swing and position trade it. Swing and position trade, also because the liquidity of the Canadian market is less. But you can do all of that work on Stockscores and complementing that with a real-time quote feed from your broker. I am Canadian. I trade the US market. There's not a big problem. I think a lot of times people think there's tax implications or there's currency exchange. I'll teach you ways around that. There are no tax implications. I mean, you have to pay tax, but you don't have to pay US taxes. And in terms of the currency exchange, there's brokers that don't require that you exchange your Canadian dollars into US dollars in order to day trade those stocks. And one of the great benefits of being a Canadian day trader of US markets is you are not subject to the pattern day trading rule, which they have in the US, where American citizens day trading the US market have to have at least $25,000 of capital. Canadians do not follow that rule. And so it's actually in many ways easier to day trade the US market from Canada. And also I know we have people here from around the world. That is a US rule. If you are in the US and you want to day trade the stock market, you have to follow the US rules, which is the pattern day trading rule. Now, there are some ways around that as well with not trading as much, but generally speaking, that is how it works. Now, with ActiveLive, you can ask me questions in the live webinar, and I will answer them. Usually we do all the question and answer at the final half an hour of the trading day, but I give you my picks in the first half an hour. I guide you through that opening part of the day. And again, that service is only available to active trader members. It is $195 a month, which is much less than what it will cost you to learn and use some of these tools on your own and to develop those tools on your own. This is how the ActiveLive screen looks. We've got all these what are called radar screen windows, and they're for different strategies. So this window here is for the intraday pullback strategy. This is for the wave strategy. This is for the day trader strategy. These two are for the superhero strategy or the intraday pullbacks also. And then this one over here is for the simple swing strategy. I post some of my picks here for day trading, some of my picks here for swing trading, and this is updating in real time through the trading day. We also have a chart here of the overall market, which we use to determine whether we should be aggressive or not. Now, the one other course option that I have coming up starting in November is the mentorship program. If you would like me to hold your hand through the learning process, to take you through the lessons, one lesson at a time, that will start Tuesday, November 9th. It is primarily focused on more active trading, so day trading and swing trading. The lessons you learn are equally applicable to investing, but this is really intended for the person that wants to be a full or part-time trader. They want to be a day trader, a swing trader. That's what this course is focused on. It's taking you through the active trader knowledge, but through hourly meetings. So you can't procrastinate. Every week, every Tuesday night at 6:30 or 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, I will teach you a lesson. And we start with the basics, so you don't have to have any experience coming in. But by the end, you're going to be learning the most advanced things that I do. And it's really focused on getting you up and running as a trader as quickly as possible. Now, with the mentorship, you also get a free month of ActiveLive. And it's limited in terms of how many students I have because it's a lot more question and answer and that sort of thing. I try to keep the numbers down so that I can manage it more effectively. So it's 20 students maximum, and there's currently 3 spots left. Here's some feedback on the mentorship that I'll let you read. I'm not going to read this out for you, but you can also watch this as a video later. I did this, or I am recording this webinar today as a video, and I will email out a link to the video afterwards. So if you want to watch this again and maybe pause it on this particular screen so that you can see the long testimonials that I've received from people on the mentorship course. But it really is I think the best way to learn the material for 2 reasons. One, I walk you through it step by step. And so when you have a question, you can ask a question and I'll pause and answer that right away. But also because it deals with procrastination. If you are someone who needs a little extra motivation, every Tuesday is the class, and I'm going to walk you through it. And then I give you some work to do for the next week. So you're looking at about an hour a week for the class and maybe an hour a week for your homework. You can do more if you want. The more you practice, the better you get. But it's not a huge time commitment, but you do need to be committed for the 14 weeks. It starts November 9th and it finishes February 1st. We take a couple weeks off over the Christmas holidays. So I am complementing the online material. So in addition to access to the Education Center on the Stockscores website, in the month of November, I will also be doing these classes that I spoke about earlier in the presentation. So Monday, November 1st, Tuesday, November 2nd, I will take you for an hour and a half walk each night through the important theory concepts. So how to read charts, how to manage risk, all of those components will be done Monday and Tuesday, first week of November. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to do market scans together. So this is for the investor scans. We're going to practice together. The first night, I'm going to kind of show you what to do. And the second and third night, Thursday and Friday, I'm going to get you to actually pick the stocks in your mind. And then I'll go back and show you which ones I liked and why. And if you said, well, I liked Microsoft, why didn't you like that? I'll explain why. And it's a great way to learn. Now, again, as an added bonus, anyone who purchases the investor or active trader course will also get, for the month of November, a daily video where I will do the market scans. And I'll probably start after this because I actually don't want you to get the video before the class. So I'll probably start at the second week of November, those daily videos. Now, for those that take the Active Trader course, you will also get a free month of ActiveLive, which you can use anytime. If you want to use it in November, you can. I would recommend you go through the material a little bit first, but you can use it December, January. You can use it next year in March. It doesn't matter to me. You have a free month that you can use anytime. With that free month of ActiveLive, you will be able to see how we build our watch lists, how we review trades, practice, all of that stuff, day trading and swing trading focused. Now, all of these classes, the market scanning classes, the foundation classes, those will all be recorded. So if you can't make it at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time for those classes, you can watch the video. I encourage you to come live if you can, because you can ask questions live and it's just easier that way. But if you can't, you watch the video, you can email me your questions and I will answer that way. So the special offer that we have up until Friday, October 29th, so next Friday, or this coming Friday, I guess, is that you will get those overview classes, you will get the market scanning classes, you will get the month of videos for free. That is part of the investor course. So if you take the investor or active trader class, investor or active trader, you will get the overview for free, you will get the market scanning for free, and you will get the month of market scan videos. If you take the active trader course, you will get this for free as well, but you're also going to get that free month of ActiveLive. And if you take mentorship, you're going to get another free month of ActiveLive. Now, if you've already taken the active trader course, last year, you've already had your free month of ActiveLive, but you will get another month of ActiveLive with mentorship. All right. Now, for those of you that took my class 2 years ago and you want a refresher of this stuff, you want to do this class again and this market scanning again and the month of market scan videos, I'll let you can do that. It's $195, and I will put that up next week on the upcoming events area of the Stockscores website, and I'll probably fire out an email so that you can register for that. If you would like to do this again, you've already done it before, $195 for a repeat of that stuff. I don't know why that's there. That was from last time. Course pricing. So the investor course is $2,495 Canadian. And if you are a Canadian resident, you pay GST on that. The active trader course, which includes the investor course, is $34.95 Canadian. The mentorship is $54.95. If you did the investor course before and you want to upgrade to the active trader course, That is $1,250 for the upgrade. And you can do that from the Stockscores Education Center. You just log into the website, go to the Education Center, and the link to upgrade is there. If you did the Active Trader course 2 years ago and now you want to do the mentorship course, you can upgrade in the upcoming events area of Stockscores. I'll just show you this. So you go to Trader Training, upcoming events, go down to the bottom of the page, Active Trader Mentorship. As long as you are an Active Trader student, you can register online and it will charge you the $2,000 to do the upgrade. If you have never done the Active Trader course, the first thing you have to do is go to Learn How to Trade. And here you can buy the Active Trader course, order Active Trader, that's step one. It'll give you instant access, but you have to log out of the website and then log back in so that the website recognizes that you're an Active Trader student. And then if you want to then register for the mentorship, you then go to the upcoming events page, down to ActiveLive, register online, or not ActiveLive, sorry, Active Trader Mentorship, register online, and you can sign up there. Okay? So if you want to, I'll walk you through it again. If you want to register for the investor course, the Active Trader course, you go to Stockscores, go to Trader Training, Learn How to Trade, cycle down to the section that you want, and there's a video here that goes through the Active Trader course, a little bit of information on what's included. Order the Active Trader course with that link. You want to buy the investor course, order it with this link. Once you do that, you'll have instant access. You can start watching the videos as soon as you sign up, but you probably have to log out first and then log back in so that the website recognizes you as having purchased that. And again, if you want to then add the mentorship component, you go to upcoming events, go down to the Active Trader Mentorship, sign up right there. I think that's all I need to show you here. And again, there's videos in here that will walk you through that stuff. So what I'm going to do now is just launch a poll. If you would like an email with a follow-up email with some more information on the courses and just some links on where to sign up, just answer yes to which one you are most interested in. And if you don't want to be bugged or sent an email, then just say no, I'm not going to bug you otherwise. I said this before, but I'm not a pushy salesman because my courses sell out and I don't need to push people into this. I'll help you decide if it's right for you. If you have questions, feel free to ask. But yeah, just answer this poll. I'll take it down in about 10 more seconds. In the meantime, I'll see a couple of questions here. Someone say they bought the course many years ago, 15 years ago. So that gives you the investor course. That's the equivalent. If you bought it 15 years ago, that's the investor course. Is TradeStation necessary? Minimum requirement to have account has gone up. So let me just take down this poll. TradeStation is not imperative. TradeStation is good for day trading, but if you don't want to use TradeStation yourself, you can just log into ActiveLive. I'll come back to some more of the questions in a moment. I just want to wrap up here. So why would you want to take these courses? It took me 8 years to learn. I didn't have anyone to teach me. I spent a lot of money losing, figuring things out. And I'm just going to help save you time and money, get you up and running quicker. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I know what I'm doing. And anyone who's ever been in my webinars, my ActiveLive webinars, I think they see that I'm not a newbie to this. I've learned every lesson the hard way, and I can transfer that knowledge to you. Because I only teach a small number of students, I can give a more personalized education. You're only getting trained by me. I've been teaching for over 20 years. If you like the style of these webinars, this is sort of how I teach. I think people tell me I'm fairly clear with how I teach this stuff. And I can teach it well because I do it. I know what I'm doing. And I don't make it complicated. It's simple. And I can see the mistakes that people make because I've made all those mistakes. I've done this for a long time. I'm an expert on mistakes because I've made them. Trading gives you freedom. You can work from home. You can work from anywhere. That you can plug your computer into a wall and have an internet access. And that's really the greatest thing about trading. Now I want to make it easy. I want to make it prosperous. I want to make it fun. And so that's my goal, is to get you there. You have to come to it with the willingness to learn, the willingness to listen, and the willingness to work hard in the beginning, because you do have to work to learn. But once you've learned how to do this, it's not really that difficult. It's just a process, and it's step by step, and that's what I teach you. I know a lot about trading. I'm good at teaching it to others, and I think you will learn how to be a better trader faster. Even if you've been trading for 10 years, I am certain that I will teach you things that will justify the cost. And if you're new, of course, it's going to get you up and running that much quicker. We want to avoid the pain of losing, the emotional pain, the financial pain. It's all about pursuing profit. My number one goal for every student is capital preservation. We want to manage risk effectively. So to register for the courses, the deadline is Friday. You can register immediately, and if you register today, you're going to have access today, so you can start your learning, something fun to do on a weekend. For the active trader and investor courses, you just go online where I showed you, and you'll get immediate access. You just have to log out and in again once you've purchased. For the mentorship, it's a two-step process. First, you have to buy the active trader course, log out of Stockscores, then back in, and then register at the upcoming events page. Once the class is full, I will take down the link. So if the link is not there anymore, it's because the mentorship class is full. So here's a little bit about what's possible. Just people that have sent me comments, and this particular person really had great financial success. And but I know this guy. He worked. He did the work, and had some nice profits. So again, how to register? Go to the website there. We've gone through that already. There's my email address, and I'll take a few questions now. Can we get credit for our participation with DisNat before? No, DisNat used to pay for your access, but they no longer do that. So it's basically no credit for that. Are the courses first week November paid courses? Are the courses first week of November paid courses? Well, it's part of the course that you like. It's included if you buy the investor or active trader course. You don't have to pay for it. It's free if you register before Friday at 11 p.m. And if you are an old student and you want to repeat that, then it's $195. And I'll send out an email about how to register for that as a repeat. Care to share which brokers don't charge exchange from US to Canadian? Well, I don't know all of them. I know Interactive Brokers doesn't. You just have to set it up the right way. I believe TD now does that. I'm not certain, but I believe they do. I think DisNat used to, and I would assume they still do, unless they've changed. Maybe Quest. But anyway, I'll tell you what to ask for in the course when we go through that. But basically, you just get buying power. You put money in your Canadian account, and you get buying power in your US account. So ask whatever broker you're with. I think of the banks, I only believe that TD does it, but I could be wrong. Some of them may have added it. Let's see. What is included in the $300 a year subscription? And by signing up, does it provide live data? So the $300 a year is for access to the market scan. The market scan is not real time. It's a tool for position traders. So we don't need real time. For real time data, you can get that from your broker or something like TradeStation, TC2000. But that's outside of me. That's something you have to subscribe to on your own. Sorry, lots of questions, so I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss any. The cost to upgrade from investor to mentorship. So first you have to upgrade to active trader. That's $1,250. And then you upgrade to mentorship, which is $2,000. So to go from investor to mentorship is $3,250. What are tax implications for day trading? So if you are a professional trader, like it's my primary occupation, I have area of expertise, it's what I do all day, you no longer get the capital gains exemption. This is in Canada. I don't know how it works in the US or other countries. So because of that, I set up a corporation to trade through, and that way you can have the write-offs that come with a corporation, and the corporate tax rate is much lower. If you are sort of casually trading on the side, you're not really a pro trader, then you should take advantage of the capital gains exemption because you only pay half the tax. As a Canadian with an account less than $25,000 in Interactive Brokers, how do I avoid the pattern day trader rule? Well, you just don't have to do it because Interactive Brokers Canada will not make you a pattern day trader if you have a Canadian address when you open your account. As an investor, do you have to look at the opening of the market each day? As an investor, no. Now, as an investor, you really look at the market more so in the evenings or last part of the day. Also, do you give actual stocks to buy advice and not just how to buy? Yep, we do that, and that's part of what I'll do for free for that month, is I'm going to walk you through and pick my stocks for you. TD in Canada has Thinkorswim platform, works well with US funds. Yeah, I believe though that you can no longer open a new Thinkorswim account. Can two family members take the course at the same time? Yeah, if you want to do it with your son or daughter, I don't mind that. If you and your wife want to do it, I don't mind that. You and your cousin in another country, that's not okay, but if you're kind of in the same household, it's fine. Just if you want to know, just send me an email and ask me. So I think I caught all the questions. I might have missed some near the top of the page here. Let me just scroll up and make sure I haven't missed any. And if I did miss your question, feel free to email me. My email address is on screen there. Have you ever invested in a tip or a startup? Oh yeah, a long time ago. Don't do that much anymore. But when will the next sessions be after November? I typically do it like in the spring, April, May. You can take the course anytime. It's just the live classes that complement the course are right now. But if you want to, just do it on your own in December, you can buy the course anytime. There's a benefit to doing it now because you get access to that live training that I'm doing for free in the month of November. So extra bonuses right now. I think I got all the questions. One person, mentorship good for a very new trader? Yeah, I don't assume that you know anything. Like I start from the basics. And so if you're new to this is how you learn. It's quicker. But we do get up to advanced topics. So if you're not going to do the hour of work a week on the assignments that I give you, you might get lost. Like you have to do the work. All right, I think I'll wrap it up there. I want to thank you all for joining me today. I will follow up with an email with the video probably later today. Again, the deadline for getting the free stuff is Friday at 11 p.m. But again, you can register today. You'll get access today. Register tomorrow, you get access tomorrow. The more you can work on the material, the better equipped you will be for our first class November 1st. So thank you all for joining me today. Hope you've enjoyed it. And I will look forward to seeing you. Thanks, everyone.